They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
All right, well, here we are.
Hey, what's up? Here we are.
Oh, nothing. Do you need to do a thing, Cho? You've been doing a thing. Yeah,
we can tandem it. Yeah, it's you know the drill, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. WellRED comedy.com, WellRED comedy.com, which is where you can find out where we're going to be as soon as this as the whole world opens back up and whatnot. You can grab our merch there. You can get our book, The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Dragging Dixie Out of the Dark, which. Boys, it's coming up on 5 years. That's crazy. That's insane. Literally, not like not since it came out, but 5 years since we started writing it. Like we're really getting there. You can pick that up. Also, our album, WellRED, live from Lexington. Also, as always, if you enjoyed this podcast, I bet you will enjoy our sister podcast. Trae has the Evening Skews with Smart Marchese. Drew has Into the Biscuit with DJ Lewis, and I've got Through the Screen Door with Matt Coon. They're all fun projects that we got going on the side, picking up steam. And other than that, fucking A, just follow us on the socials and tell us you love us. Give us a 5-star review on this podcast. Tell your friends, subscribe, all that good shit. And there's how that's done.
Yeah. All right. So I would like to start with some more rap talk. We had some rap talk recently. I found recently, and it's like I've never noticed it before, but almost every single morning I wake up with a seemingly totally random song stuck in my head, like playing in my head. And it'll be a different song every day, and it's all genres. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it was in a dream I was just having before I wake up, but every morning I wake up with a song in my head almost. And a couple of days ago, and obviously this hit, I woke up at like 5 a.m. needing to pee, and said song was the seminal turn of the century club banger "Back That Ass Up" by Juvie and
Lil
Manny
Wayne.
Fresh and Lil Wayne. Yeah,
was that 99?
Yeah, because Cash Money was taken over for the 99 and the 2000, as you may recall.
They announced it.
Yeah, they announced it, so it was 99. And it was particularly. And let me look up the lyrics real quick, just so I don't butcher any of them.
Second verse.
Yes.
When he says, I can walk it like a dog. Yeah.
Actually, no, I guess it's the third verse. It's Manny Fresh's verse.
Yeah. Manny Fresh is a good verse.
I know you can't stand it, Dick Bandit.
Done land it, see the draws hand it, big dick.
Don't get a yo, gang split a yo. Yeah. Okay, so here's the part in particular.
On the wall and I hit it, yo.
The very next part. What's the very next part?
Tat.
Looking kind of lonely. I'm feeling lonely.
Keep
Put
going.
the dick in the middle like Monie. Big
right
dick
there, right there.
Chick.
Stop. It was the whole thing playing in my head, but that little couplet stuck with me for the first, because Whack came out. I was 13.
By the way, well done, boys, on remembering exactly this third verse of this song.
Yeah, well, of course,
99.
Dude, seared into all of our memories.
If you was slow and a freshman, you knew all the lyrics.
Right. So that last couplet, looking kind of lonely. I'm feeling honey. Put the dick in the middle like Monie. I got hung up on that the other morning. I was like, wait a minute. What do y'all know what that? Do y'all understand that?
I actually, in my brain, has always just like interpreted it as like Monie was wasn't Monie a song too?
It's not a song. It was a singer. And Monie Love.
Was she a backup singer?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that much about her.
I was going to say that would make sense if she was like a backup singer and there were 3 of them and she was always in the middle.
She had a song that was something of a hit in 1990, but I don't remember it at all. But her name's Monie Love, and the song was called Monie in the Middle. All right?
Oh, that hits.
So that's what it means. Put the dick in the middle like Monie. I did not know that. I was unfamiliar with Monie Love. I never questioned that lyric at all until the other morning. So I'm laying in bed. It's 5 a.m. and I'm just playing that over and over again in my head. And I don't know anything about Monie Love or that song. And I was like, what? I put the dick in the middle like Monie. And you know what I landed on? And it's totally incorrect, but it hit for me so hard.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
No, I thought he was saying, well, because first of all, he says, I'm feeling horny, which, it's not horny.
Yeah,
he says honey. So I thought it was the word money, like, money, like money. And I thought he was
That's
saying.
probably what I've always thought.
I thought I thought I had cracked this for the first time in 20 years or whatever. The other morning at 5:15 a.m. I was like, holy shit. He's saying that like American money has
A dick in the middle.
slave owners. Yeah, right. Like slave owners in the middle of it.
That'd
I
be
wish it was
great.
that.
A dickhead. Right. Yeah. I put the dick in the middle like Monie. And I thought, I was like, oh my God, that's brilliant. I never
Yeah.
even realized that. It's like, because our money has a fucking dick in the middle because they were all racist assholes or whatever. And I thought that's what he meant. And I couldn't wait to get on here and hit y'all with this. But of course, I had to look it up in the meantime. And that's not at all. It's just a pop culture.
You know what I
reference,
realized?
But I had blown my mind erroneously.
You ever
out
just
of
think
nowhere.
a thing? You ever just think a thing for no reason your whole life and never question?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I'm now realizing that what I think I thought as a kid and still till just now that I'm thinking about it was put the dick in the middle like Monie. My brain took Monie as a part of Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, even though it ain't Monie, it's Miney. And that was the middle part of that thing, even though it
Yeah.
ain't, because there's 4 of them. So like I was just wrong both, but like that's what I thought was like Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Monie's in the middle of that. That's what
Well,
I thought. So
well,
yours
see, I
is
don't think
different.
I
it was
thought
just-
anything.
I thought it was, close to that. Like, I'm not sure I thought anything, but I think I thought it was like you moan. I put my
Right.
dick in the middle of you and then you moany. And it just like,
Mhm.
he stretched the rhyme out.
I think what the big takeaway from this is that like that's how good that song is.
Yeah.
That you would never like. Why would you question it? You're just like, yeah, Manny
Well,
Fresh knows the deal.
I
Maybe
typed it in
everyone
just
was like
now.
that when it came out. Like I'm saying adults too, but I just thought, to me, it's like, again, it came out when we were kids, 13-year-old, prime age for that song, by the way,
Yeah.
playing that at fucking junior high dances and shit. And it was just
Money.
slapping. But anyway, I feel like you just back then, especially as like a white trash kid, I loved rap or whatever, but I just took it all in stride. Do you know what I mean? I never questioned any of it. I
No,
would
me
like
too.
learn the lyrics and just roll with it, but I never even,
Well,
if it
also, we
wasn't immediately
couldn't-
obvious,
dude,
I just didn't
There was
even
no way to
try.
find that out back then too.
That's true.
Like we
yeah.
we lived in a time like if you would have had to. I mean, like, look, at that time in my life, I was just like, look, man, black people know different stuff than you do.
Yes,
and they say
right.
different stuff, and that's just. But like, it's not like we could have gone to Wikipedia and figured out what the fuck this means. Like, we would have had to ask somebody. We would have had to ask one of our black friends, and like, there's a good chance they wouldn't have known neither. Because they was also 10 and 11. So
Right.
yeah, how the fuck would we have known?
There wasn't no black kids where I grew up, but what you said, black people just have different stuff to talk about. That is what it is. Like Monie was a reference
Right.
that his culture understood
For sure.
where Monie wasn't famous enough for ours. I didn't tweet this the other day because I was like, this is going to come off wrong. And then I got high and forgot how to tweet it.
Have you
But
just now started deciding to do that?
yeah. And within the last year. But like the way rap is able to just bypass context
Yeah.
all the time.
Don't matter.
Think about gangster rap. It's all about tough and killing people, and it's poetry.
Yeah.
They recite poetry to music about, and I'm not saying that if you do poetry, you're not tough, but the context of American culture and the macho-ness, the ability for young black men to just insert themselves in the tough American consciousness through poems. And no one goes, wait a minute, you're
Right.
a poet. You're not a killer. That's fucking crazy and
It
really
is-
cool.
It is crazy to think about a guy like Tupac, who, like, when you look at Tupac through the lens of us now with all the information, with everything on the table, you go, this is an artist. Like, this is a supreme artist. He was a poet. He was sensitive. But like, at the time, it's just like you take it at face value and you're like, this is a motherfucker that will kill you. You know what I mean? Because of what he just said. But like, realistically, Tupac was almost playing a character. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that like he had that shit in his heart, but like Tupac, to me, if you really read about the guy, you're more likely, in my opinion, to see him in some like Brooklyn coffee house. You know what I'm saying? Than you would actually fucking murdering somebody. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said earlier about like just assuming, well, black people they have different things to say than we have.
Yeah, right.
And
They
and,
do.
and we were just like, and those things hit. I love them. Don't know what
do.
they mean, but they hit. But that same logic applied to people for which that same logic applied to white people for which rap and black people did not hit.
Right.
But like, you remember that? I'm ashamed that I can't. Was it Chappelle or was it Chris Rock that had that bit about like how rap could slide things through because white people didn't know what the words meant yet, and the example used was skeet, just like skeet.
It was
Chappelle's
show.
Okay, all right.
He was introing. Show. I think he was introing. Remember when he used to be Little John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was introing them sketches.
And he said something about skeet, 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 and he was talking about how hilarious it was that white people are just now finding out what skeet, skeet, skeet means.
Right. But so
like, that was on the radio.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They used things like that could be on the radio, like because white people didn't know that they meant something bad.
Yeah.
So they just, flew things under the radar that way, which also hits for me.
Yeah, me too.
Very, very different rap related thing that I just found out about this morning. So I can't talk really at length about him. I'm just wondering if y'all knew about him because this dude has millions of hits and is on the Billboard charts and stuff. Y'all know who Tom MacDonald is?
Are you about to tell me that's a rapper?
Yeah. Yes.
Tom MacDonald. How about that?
Either one of y'all?
No.
No. Okay,
I'm not cool.
But does he have a different name?
I didn't know it. No.
Oh, is this that conservative guy?
Yes. Yeah. I'd never heard of him either.
I saw him on so somebody shared an Upchurch the Redneck TikTok.
Oh, crap.
And I was like, God damn, what is Upchurch up to? He's singing now, boys. He's trying not to rap. He's a singer now.
He's been rapping.
Okay. So right, but he's singing now. Upchurch is. Anyway, Upchurch shared one of this dude's videos. And Trae, I didn't recognize the name. I typed it in and recognized his face immediately.
So white guy
from Canada who now lives in LA. And he white guy from Canada now lives in LA with a whole bunch of tattoos, face tattoos, and like dreads and stuff. But he raps about, like, he's got songs called Fake Woke, No Lives Matter, Canceled. You get the picture.
Okay, I get the picture, but what I'm saying is, like, is that why he don't hit, or also he sucks at rapping?
He's all right.
He's all right. In terms of just like technical ability as a rapper or whatever. I mean, he ain't. Yeah,
bad. I'm just saying, like, let's be objective here, because, like, I'm just saying, like, he might be good, but also don't hit. I'll just making sure.
Struggle Jennings and Jelly Roll are big Trump supporting white rappers, and they
Jelly
can fucking
Roll
rap.
is.
Yeah, and they can fucking rap.
Word.
I'm disappointed by Jelly Roll.
Me too.
I don't know that other
Broke
guy,
my
but I know Jelly Roll, and I didn't know that about him.
Man.
They can rap. Like,
Jelly Roll can.
My buddy Bullwinkle, he was bumping that shit when I went to see him when I was back home, and I was like, damn, that's a Trump hat. Oh, now I'm listening to the lyrics. Now I'm hearing it. Yeah, at first I thought it was just some dude like saying "fuck you." He was specifically saying "fuck you" to me.
That can happen though. Like, that's the thing about music, is when it's good, you let a lot of it go. You let a lot of the message go. Like, man, dude, listen, if a Jelly Roll song comes on and he's talking about loving Trump, but it's got a sick beat and he can fucking there's part of me that's going to be like, look, man, I'm not saying I'm going to pick it, but I ain't going to turn it the fuck off neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Stranglehold comes on, I'm not thinking about Ted Nugent. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I only listened to snippets of this guy's stuff of like 2 or 3 songs. And just in my opinion, he ain't got no stranglehold. Cause I mean, yes, I agree with you completely. Stranglehold's undeniable. I'm sorry, Ted Nugent sucks, but Stranglehold is undeniable.
And it goes the other way too.
I don't think this dude is like that. Like, yes, he definitely is actually talented, but not on that level. In my opinion,
and he's not on Jelly Roll or Struggle's level either. Let me be clear. It's like Struggle and Jelly Roll's compilation album they did together is called Waylon and Willie, which I'm a little annoyed that they decided to act like that's who they are and they're Trump supporters. But the top hits are like Money, Sex, Drugs. They got a song called Glitter. They got one called Feeling No Pain where they talk about pain pills. They just throw in there that Trump hits for them.
That's
whereas this other dude is,
that's his
whole persona is
right.
I'm fucking against wokeness or whatever,
A fucking white dude named Tom from Canada. Get him, buddy.
Oh, I may have spoke too soon. They got one called Proud, and I'm about to read the lyrics to make sure. I don't know what. Woo.
How do y'all feel about? Because I think my distant cousin Steven Crowder, we're not
Oh,
related.
yeah.
If anybody thinks I'm being serious, but that dude,
You need to work that gimmick. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I think he's Canadian. I think.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, right. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
I didn't know that.
Those Jordan Peterson.
Yep. Right. Okay.
They're both so American to me that I would have
I
never.
know, right?
figured-
Because their whole thing is super like
Yeah.
patrioty, American
Right.
patrioty, or whatever. And I'm just like, how's that strike y'all?
You mean that
like,
they're from Canada?
Yeah, because also Milo or Milo, however you say
mean-
it, that dude who's kind of gone away a little bit, he was British or
I
whatever.
mean, just that fucking white people are all the same everywhere for the most part. And also, like, why wouldn't there be some shitty people from Canada? You know what I mean? I think it's like one of the things.
I'm not surprised by that. It's more like
Why we listen?
don't
to
come
them?
down here and talk about our shit. Like,
Well,
just-
there's
you know,
there's money in it. You know what I mean? Like, why
Right.
wouldn't
Why
they
are
do
we
it? Like,
listening to them?
like-
It ain't like we ain't got American versions
think-
of that.
I-
At least keep the racism in country at least,
Well-
so we can. They're taking our jobs.
well, it's funny because like both sides do that. Like when a foreign celebrity starts saying stuff that me, you, and Trae, us three, like agree with, the other side's like, "Hey, you don't live here. Quit saying our shit." So like, I feel like we all feel that way when
Is it-
some motherfucking foreigners start saying some shit that don't hit for us. We're just like, "Stay up there and say it."
Yeah.
You know?
Did
So,
they
like, I
tour
think
here though?
Do what?
Did those people that you're talking about tour here and make their career here? I guess Trevor Noah does.
yeah, okay, but right, okay, maybe this is what you're
Russell
saying. I think
Brand,
There's
dudes
a
like
shitload
that.
of celebrities who like live here, like live in LA or whatever, and yeah, they're British or whatnot. But I mean, and I guess Crowder and all these dudes we're talking about, they live here now.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I guess it works the same either way. But I think if you, you are living in a country, honestly, whether it's liberals or not, fascination from people who are still in other countries and have like really strong opinions about what we got going on. Well, I mean, I don't know, hell, because it's gotten so terrifying lately. I feel like you have to,
Why wouldn't you? I mean,
you have to kind of care because it's like,
well, we're
they're gonna-
interested.
They're going to blow up and kill us all over there. So, I mean, I can understand now
Well, like,
being fascinated with it.
Isn't that the most American thing in the world? Being very interested in what another country has going on and not being able to mind your own goddamn business about it. I mean, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Do you
let
mean
that.
do you mean internally? Like,
I mean, war wise, we're fucking always wondering what the
Okay.
French are up to. You know what I'm
war-wise,
saying?
that's true. But I feel
War
like
wise, it's
culturally-
100% true. And also,
I feel like culturally, it's completely the opposite, though. Meaning, like, Americans don't know nothing about no other country. Like,
no,
like if
except for
Belgium's-
that they're bad.
right? But I'm saying they don't like it's like Americans is like. I've always felt like a lot of other countries are really focused on us and what we got going
Yeah.
on. And like I said, I guess I can understand that. And then over here, Americans are just like, what's the Belgium?
Right. Well,
No,
no, there's
The reason
okay.
why they're
Get out of here with
focused-
Belgium shit. What
There's
they got,
that.
a king? I don't give a fuck. Like,
and that's one of our strong
reason-
points, to be honest.
that we don't have
It's
a
like
king.
it's literally everyone is focused on America, especially Americans.
especially Americans.
The reason that they're focused on us, though, is what you're talking about, Corey. Because what y'all are describing is the everyday culture is to not give a fuck what's happening in Europe.
Yeah.
And the international political policy culture of America is to be trying to control literally everything but China.
Right.
Yes. Right.
My
Yeah.
point is that those dudes, like, the reason that they think, like, everybody wants to be able to go, see, this guy gets it. You know what I mean? About people that aren't necessarily from here, or like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they look at a Canadian similar to how they look at like when they find a black Republican. They're just like, see,
Yeah.
here's a thing you didn't
Yeah.
think was a thing, and they agree with us. So,
Right.
like, when it comes to Canada, well, Drew's dog's out. When it comes to Canada, you know, we're always talking about how like Canada's got great health care and Canada has socialized this and Canada blah 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 blah. So they fucking absolutely love it when one of those motherfuckers thinks the way they do, and that's why they get so popular.
You are 100% correct about that. That totally makes sense to me. Yeah.
Are you patronizing me right now?
No. Sincerely. I just I didn't even know where I was going when I brought it up. I was just thinking about there's a number of kind of high profile foreigners who
Right.
are very, very present in that whole like scene, the sort of
Yeah.
like American political commentary
Yeah.
scene. And I feel like at a superficial level that like seems odd, but I mean,
For
you're
sure.
right. When you get into it and really like think about it and break it down, I mean, no, it does make sense. You're right. But
It don't hit.
They don't hit. No, they don't hit for me, but
I mean, they're wildly more popular than us.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we should leave.
I know. Like what?
Like maybe we
that
should go to
before.
England.
Yeah, we'd hit over there. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe, or they might just be like, no, we don't want y'all neither.
Wait. So, all right, let's just get real, get introspective here, because obviously I've thought about that before. I think this Tom MacDonald dude is a good example. Is it because of the scarcity of options they have? And what I mean is, like, I feel like on the right, when somebody
Liberals
like
got
breaks
plenty.
through a little bit on the right, they like fucking every single one of them latches onto that person and they explode and they're huge because every conservative in America watches it. Whereas that's what we have done on the left, but we don't even approach that level of notoriety or followers or whatever that the people on the right have. And is that because there's so many more options for shit like what we do?
Yes.
So people are like, oh, there's way better than y'all.
Absolutely.
But if you're on the right, they're like, this is all we got. We got 7 dudes
if the
and
Buttercream
2 blondes, and that's all we got.
If
so
the Buttercream dream made a heel turn and was a fucking conservative, everybody out there listening, you might be like, oh, Corey, you got a big ego in you. I would make $8 million next year.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because who's your favorite young conservative comedian right now?
Right.
Fucking, I don't know. Well, I'm real good.
Yeah.
So I just go do that. Now, I will not, because I have integrity. Yeah.
Principles.
And beliefs that I cherish. But yeah, no, dude, of course that's it. Like, fucking, of course that's it. They don't have, like, that's why me and Matt Coon were talking one day about how, like, Republicans, we talk about, like, separating the art from the artists all the time. And, like, the one thing I'll give Republicans credit for, but really it's just they have to do it. Like, I think they can do that better than us sometimes. Like if an artist does some shit that a liberal doesn't like, they're just like, fuck them. Nope, never again. But conservatives, literally every artist ever is liberal. So they just have had to do that all the time. Except for, of course, the few who, like, just now think that Bruce Springsteen has just suddenly become this huge liberal. Like, they didn't listen to anything he was doing before. But, like, for the most part, these people have always felt about Hollywood the way they feel, yet they keep buying tickets to see movies because they're like, what the fuck you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what's going on. I don't know if that's a thing I'll give them credit for or not.
No, it's because they have to.
Right. Yeah, right. Yes. I was going to say you're right, but yeah, what else are they going to do? But it feels like another example of their kind of hypocrisy or whatever. I think.
Sure.
Because yes, they do that. Because I feel like I feel like they don't. Almost never do they make any kind of like conscientious decision, like, sure, I know this guy I really like is liberal, but I'm gonna keep fucking with it or whatever.
Right.
It's more like burying their heads in the sand,
right? For sure.
And watching stuff, and then when somebody who's involved with music or TV or whatever that they like, when they come out publicly and it's something of a big story and they're being all liberal and shit, they still get really pissed off. It's like you're saying about Springsteen. Then they're like, won't you go back to doing the things that I like that you did and stop having these opinions you have that I don't like, like they get mad about it. When it comes up. So
they do get mad about it. They're just like, they're not as effective boycotting wise because of that. Like they can't make these little concessions in their life. Like I remember when they only boycott stuff that already did not hit for them. And which means that they're not actually boycotting anything. Like it's not making a dent because they already weren't doing it. Like when I was a kid, the Southern Baptist Convention called for a boycott of Disney because Michael Eisner made it okay for them to have a gay parade at Disney. And so they wanted to boycott Disney. I don't know if I've told this story on the podcast, but so like all these preachers and everything at our church are just like, all right, no more Disney. You got to burn all your kids, Bambis and Lion Kings and yada yada. Well, here's the deal. That went over like a fart in church, as they say, because like most of the parents were like, okay, well then you come over to the house and you get them to shut the fuck up then. Only Aladdin can do that, so no thank you. But still, they were calling for this huge boycott of Disney cartoons because that was gay. Meanwhile, though, my dad had to go explain to Pastor Darrell, who that in his sermon was talking about the top 10 on ESPN that week. My dad had to explain to Pastor Darrell that, hey, if you're going to boycott Disney, you can't watch ESPN because they're owned by the same company. And also, your favorite show is Tool Time. It's Home Improvement. You can't watch it. And he got a bunch of, well, and my dad's like, well, fucking nothing. Well, it's easy for you to not watch cartoons because you fucking weren't going to anyways, you asshole. But if you really want to do this, then you got to do it down the line. And they won't do that.
No, they
dude,
won't.
like there's like Eric Church is still selling out fucking arenas because like they like his shit.
Right.
But they will make their own. I mean, VeggieTales is a direct result from that culture.
Accurate.
It's a direct result from that culture and they want their own shit. I mean, that's why Mormons have their own tiny Hollywood. They do want to do that. There is an attempt to have an insulated culture, and it's kind of creepy.
But I mean, not really an attempt. Like they do have it. That's kind of what we were talking about. Like, but it's just so small. They don't have it. The talent pool isn't good enough because
those things don't really hit. They might fuck with those. It's like people talk about Gina Carano. Gina Carano's going to go make a movie with Ben Shapiro.
It'll fucking suck.
There's no way that's going to hit. Plenty of conservatives might pay to download it just to support the cause, and they'll make their money from a grift perspective, and they might watch the whole thing. And if it panders to them hardcore, they'll, it'll like kind of hit, but deep down, it ain't gonna be the fucking Mandalorian.
She doesn't even look like Ava Braun at all. So like, like even a little bit, like out in the prosthetics,
I guess. Like the Ava Brawny man.
Yeah, she does. But here's the thing, and I'm gonna go way up my own ass here, but I don't give a fuck. This is how I feel.
Surely not.
This is right. This whole episode has been the Up My Butt Club. But
that's what we ought to rename the podcast.
Come up our butts.
Yeah, with us. Where we live, buddy. This week on the Up Our Butts Club.
We call it Come Up Our Butts Club, and we might get some extra downloads.
That's true. But listen, here's the deal. The reason why is Hollywood full of liberals? Why is the actors and actresses all liberal? Why is every comedian liberal? Let me explain to you fucking why and why it will always be. Here's why. In order to be an effective artist, you have to have something called empathy. It's the only way that fucking works. You have to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You have to be able to feel something that you're not comfortable feeling. You have to be able to emote those things. You have to be willing to accept a lot of things that maybe you didn't believe at one point when you're trying to get into a character. You have to meet a lot of different types of people. You have to talk to tons of different types of people and hear their experience. And if you do that, there only two things can happen. Either you grow as a person or you shoot yourself because you had to talk to a black guy. So, therefore, when it comes to being an artist, which is what Hollywood is comprised of, yes, that's going to swing about 98-2 on the liberal to conservative degree, in my opinion. As Steven Crowder would say, fight me on it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think just to play devil's advocate, I think what people would point to, and the answer to this is that it's actually a very small percentage, but there's also definitely a lot of sociopaths in Hollywood who very effectively fake all the shit you just said. And then behind the scenes, they are fucking monsters.
That's true.
And most of them, and for them, it's probably just because they're in a culture that's predominantly liberal, and those types of people do whatever they need to do.
They want to fit in.
Exactly, to fit in and be accepted. So that's probably why most of them
those are outliers, though.
Yes, they
like
are.
Tom Cruise isn't everybody.
I'm just acknowledging their existence.
For
sure. I think mostly across the board, what you said is true. So
that's all the more reason
comedians.
That's all the more reason to make culture try to be fair and do more good for more people, so that that's the only way to insulate yourself from sociopaths and bad people, is make it to where the system's as fair as possible and the culture won't allow for them to be sociopaths. So they have to pretend to have empathy and all that shit. And Trump woke that up in a lot of people. That whole like, you've been faking it the whole time. Don't be ashamed anymore. Just be an asshole.
Right.
And that was pretty disheartening.
Yeah, that didn't hit. I would prefer it if people would go back to being fake about a lot of things. I'm that way
I
though.
think that
I don't
I
mind
think that
that.
has kind of happened on the other end of the spectrum, though, don't you think? Meaning, like with corporations and with Hollywood and stuff like that, a lot of them are faking giving a shit about like progressive things or whatever, and they're doing it because they
Right, like
know
Nike
that
don't give a fuck about Colin Kaepernick.
exactly.
It's an
Right.
but I'm glad that
type
they
of thing. All the like really we're in this together, fucking progressive commercials that every corporation feels as though they have to make.
it's good though because it informs something.
That's what I'm saying. It works in the opposite direction
because
too. They feel like they have to do that
Yeah.
because of the general culture's
which is
shift
awesome.
in that direction. And because if they didn't feel that way, they wouldn't do it because
No.
they don't actually give a fuck. They're,
It's a-
soulless, profit-driven entities. They don't actually care. But the fact that they feel like they have to act like they do is a good thing or a good sign,
I think it's a good
generally
sign.
speaking.
I think it's a good sign. What's scary about it is if they can just do that, like you were talking about, the sociopaths, if they can just hide and continue to be awful. But I have no workaround for that. There's no solution. There's no easy one.
I mean, look, dude, the world will never not be in some way ran by soulless sociopaths because it's just true because soulless sociopath, because you don't know that they're that. That's how good they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to get to certain things, like you're just going to have that. You just have to hope that the soulless sociopaths think that they have to fake it on your side. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You just have to hope that the soulless sociopath is more Tom Cruise than Donald Trump, I guess.
Yeah, we have to hope for someone who is driven by feeling like they're doing good rather than power.
Right. Because, some sociopaths, it's not like they want to do bad. They don't have those feelings. And I think that they do. Like, you look at the show Dexter or whatever. I feel like there are some people out there like that who are like, look, I genuinely don't have feelings, but I see what people want me to be, and that's what a good person is, so I'll do those. I mean, what the fuck else are they going to do? They literally don't, it's not natural, but, I'd rather them act like that.
Shout out to my man Amos from the show The Expanse, by the way. He's one of my favorite characters ever, who is exactly what you just said. He's like a sociopath, and he knows it, so he keeps himself around good people to be like his moral center because he recognizes he doesn't have one. And he's fucking awesome, and that show's awesome, and everybody should watch it. Y'all know what else is awesome?
I bet I have a guess.
Cuts Clothing. That's right. We've talked about them before, but they are a innovative new clothing company. They've taken a classic men's fashion staple, the plain tee, and refined it, combining premium quality with a minimalist aesthetic. Cuts has t-shirts, polos, hoodies, and crew sweatshirts, and they're made for the man who works hard, plays hard, and never settles for less. All in the sport of business. Built for performance in the boardroom, the bar, or the gym, Cuts Clothing keeps you sharp wherever the game takes you. Take a plain tee, but turn it into Tony Stark. Right? That's what they do at Cuts. The bleeding edge of fabric technology makes the man confident enough to wear it, Cho.
Let me tell you something. Don't just take our word for it. GQ, ladies and gentlemen, called it the only shirt worth wearing. And I got to say, I look really, really good in it. They sent me a black one. And look, I know that we got the pandemic on, and I'm not really going out as much. But I just kind of put it on just to lounge around the house and look at myself in the mirror and be like, this is what I would look like if I worked out. You know what I mean? It defines you. It's tapered in all the right places. I really, 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 really love it. It's the perfect t-shirt. Cuts set out to create fabric uniquely engineered for each clothing style. So consider the new Cuts hoodie, where they developed the Hyperloop French Terry. I love that. French terry fabric, a textile that's temperature controlled and ageless. Drew, you've got a French terry, don't you?
I got a pink French terry, and it is my favorite pink terry that I've ever owned in my life. It's a nice hoodie. I do want to talk about the polo. They also sent me a polo. I don't wear polos. I was like, well, I guess I'll give this one away because even though it's very nice, I don't wear them. And then I decided to incorporate incorporate it into Drew Dollar's outfit. And I got to say, he's looking sleek, guys. Every fucking like and download he gets, I'm like, it's really because of the polo, if you think about it.
Right. So let's kick off 2021 the right way by starting with your wardrobe, everybody. You can get 15% off your first order by going to cutsclothing.com/wellred. That's WellRED. Cutsclothing.com/wellred for 15% off the only shirt worth wearing. Thank you, Cuts, for sponsoring the podcast. Next up, stereo. We've done what, 3 shows now on stereo? Every Friday at 12 Pacific, we hop on there and do a little live show for people, and you can connect with us directly. Stereo is a free live broadcast social platform that lets people have real conversations in real time. We can make a more intimate relationship with our listeners because y'all can engage us directly. Like I said, we've gotten on there the past 3 Fridays at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. There's this little feature they got where you can like leave us a message. We've played every single one, I do believe, so far. All good, nothing wild, nothing crazy. Again, I think it displays a lot of trust, both on our part, but more so on the part of the people at Stereo.
Right.
A lot of trust they're displaying in people by just letting that happen. But hey, so far it's been good. It's been a good time. So we're excited to offer y'all a new way to interact with us. You can join us this Friday and every Friday for the next little bit at least for a live show on the Stereo app, Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. All you got to do is download the completely free app, Stereo app, it's called, and select any of our names, Trae Crowder, Corey R. Forrester, Drew Morgan, any or all 3 of them on there. Follow us, and you'll get notified on Friday when we're about to go live, and we'll get on there and we'll hit, and it'll be a good time.
Me and Trae had a lot of fun
Friday
this past week talking about cereal and sugar milk and getting called out by Texas mammaws and whatnot. And I love that feature, man. I'll be honest. I'll be straight up honest with you. I was like, this is going to get out of hand really quick. And I think it's made for some great shows. That's probably due to the fact that our fans, as we've always said, and as every club owner and waitress or waiter in the world has told us, are the best people in the world. So we appreciate y'all and join us over there on Stereo.
That's 100% true, but we say that every time we do this ad, and I'm starting to feel like we're daring people to fuck with our show, and we're not.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. Our fans, they aren't like that. That's not who they are. They wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't want to derail the show.
Exactly.
So yeah, I look forward to it this Friday. Which of us is who's up? You and Trae. I'm off.
Well, I thought.
Yeah, we figured out how we can all.
Oh, we did. We're all 3 on it.
I think Drew has said he has.
Okay. Well, even better.
You can call in, or somebody can call in, and the other 2 can talk to them.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, we're all 3 on it this week then.
And if that don't work, it'll be the 2 of us in some combination, but it'll hit either way. Yeah. All right. Anyway,
I have a question for y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think, and then if you do think this, how do we feel about it? I was thinking today about when this is over, the world opens back up, we're all going to be a little weird. I went and hung out with a comedian friend last night in their yard, and it was funny how quickly we just went right back to talking shit about other comics.
Yeah.
But it was weird at first. Like I haven't been around people in a while other than Andy. Andy's gone, so I've been by myself completely for 5 days. Andy talked about how she had like a weird, almost panic attack at the airport. Mark was talking about how he tried to go to a patio and it didn't, he didn't feel comfortable. We're going to be weirdos because we did the right thing.
Yeah.
And all the people who ain't been doing the right thing are going to seem normal.
Yeah. And don't hit.
It really don't hit.
I don't know that they're going to seem normal to us. To me, they're going to I feel like, I don't know about you, but like when you're watching TV now and it's like an old show or something, do you start just noticing all the teeny tiny germy things that we always do that you normally wouldn't think about? I don't until this pandemic, I never used to just notice people shaking hands and hugging each other and patting each other. And now every time I fucking see it, it's like,
but that's sort of what I'm getting at. If somebody's trying to hug you, that's normal.
Right.
Those of us who are like, ugh, we're going to seem like weirdos.
Yeah, I'm fine with it though. Look, man, I'm fine with it. I hope the world gets back to as normal as it can be. I don't think I'm ever gonna. I'm not gonna fully go back. You know what I mean? I think I'm always gonna be a little bit more cognizant of what's going on around me, germ wise. than I ever have been. I don't know, man.
You don't have any negative feelings about that?
No, I think that's, yeah. It depends on, I mean, I think I'll be the same way. I'm more just cognizant, like health conscious or whatever because of all this. And I don't think that'll go away, or at least not immediately. I
think meet and greets are going to be weird as fuck.
Yeah. I think any interactions amongst people on, who gave a shit during the pandemic will be weird for a while afterwards. But then I think we'll all kind of collectively
we're all going to go back
out one way or another. Well, we'll either that or it'll like kind of shift a little bit. And
which is fine.
Really what that,
either way,
I agree that I agree that's fine. Like people there ain't as many bro hugs and shit or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like culturally not done as much, or things are done a little differently. And I think that'll be fine too if that happens, or if we just gradually do go back to the way.
I think not even a health thing. I think not even just a health thing. I think that everyone's brains have been retrained to. I think that going forward, people that live through this are going to more understand that, oh, hey, just because so-and-so asked me to go do a thing doesn't mean I have to go with it. Like we've learned during this year, the people we really can live without, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and we've learned that you don't have to do shit all the time. And it's okay to not have all these friends. Cause during this pandemic, think of all the people who you've thought about calling or texting on a daily basis. Those are the people you need to go back to. Anybody else, you didn't really give a fuck about them. So I think that we're going to be more tightly knit anyways.
Right. But paint that a different way. We're all going to be more isolated. And I think I agree with you guys in general, but I guess what I'm saying, right. You're for that, but you have your career set, I guess. Yeah. All right. So I had an interaction. My neighbor wants to buy my Bronco and he can't have it, but he is one of these, he listens to Joe Rogan when he works out. I see him out there. Like he wasn't wearing a mask and I could tell.
You see him listening to Joe Rogan. So he's listening to it out loud, or you can just tell by his face that he's listening
to it out loud.
That would be funny.
He's just grunting extra hard.
He's got earpods. Yeah. Drew's over there. Like, that's definitely Joe Rogan.
Look how he's nodding his head.
He's drinking amino brain or whatever the hell it's called.
Dude, he does. He's got
Alpha.
them packages.
Alpha
so he wants to
brain,
buy my Bronco, but he's knocking on the door. I'm like, hold on. I put my mask on. I could tell he was like, oh, you're putting your mask on, but he didn't say anything. But then, you know how I am, like a part of me in my head, I'm going, fuck yeah, I'm putting my mask on. Yeah. I'm just saying that those interactions are going to be that way. If we're doing a meet and greet, our fans are going to be cool, but we have a very unique life. People are going to go back to the world. And you said it, our brains are rewired. Yeah. I'm not sure everyone's brain is rewired.
They're
Some
not.
people just kept living.
Definitely
and I'm saying like
my wife,
the rewired brains and the not rewired brains, there's going to continue to be weird tension and clashes.
There already is.
Well, right now it's about, you're killing old people. Well, you're a sheep. In the future, I don't know what, that'll be over. So what's it going to be?
We're just all going to seem like Howie Mandel. These
I swear to God, I was about to say pretty much verbatim that exact thing.
We're just all going to look like
existed, and people on both sides, including me, have thought, oh, they're a little weird, but not like. But I feel like most people, not in a like, oh, get the fuck away from me.
But you also realized at one point that he couldn't help that. Like at one point you realize you're like, oh, that's not like, he's not making a choice to do that. Like that would be insane. Like he has an issue or whatever. But like,
I think it depends on numbers and where you're at. But what I'm trying, I guess, to get at is if you start acting like Howie Mandel, ain't the people who didn't have enough empathy to put a fucking mask on ain't gonna have enough empathy to give a fuck about you.
For sure, dude. A similar thing happened to me yesterday as what happened to you and your buddy. But this actually happened, and we both all right. I was out walking in the park like I do. Yesterday was a gorgeous day, absolutely gorgeous. It got up to 60. It's the first time I've walked in 60-degree weather in a while. I was so excited. But as you can imagine, there was a fuck ton of people out. Granted, just in the parking lot, once you get in the park, like it's so spread out, like that's not even an issue. Like everyone's social distance. But I was walking and I walked past my old preacher who him and my dad were really good friends. By the way, super smart guy. I've seen him at the grocery store before, wears a mask. He's a good dude. Fuck the lady. What are you going to do? So, anyways, we both saw each other, and it's been a while since we saw each other, and we just instinctively shook hands, and we caught ourselves looking at our hands, and then we stepped back from each other like, oh shit. Like not just one of us, both of us like realized that we just instinctively did a thing, but oh my God, I don't know. Like we hadn't been in that position in so long. I haven't been in the position to shake a motherfucker's hand because like if I've seen you in the past year, you're my dad or my mom and I don't shake your hand. So like to go back to your point, yeah, it like both of us immediately were like, did we just fuck? Like what just happened? It was crazy.
I think that basically what it will amount to is the same type of thing where like, where you meet somebody for the first time or interact with somebody, don't really know each other, whatever. And if there's ever some moment where something gets said on either side that makes either person go, oh,
right.
You one of them then,
Yeah.
right? That will just happen immediately now. Like immediately when
I'm
at the handshake stage or whatever. And on it, I think that's like pretty much okay.
I think it's good.
I had experience, right? Yeah, I had an experience yesterday too along these same lines, and this super hot take, I know, but I just can't understand at all these people's brains that we're talking about in so many ways, but in particular, and I know it has to do with where you live and what's normal there and whatever. I live in Southern California. Everybody always wears a mask. It's illegal not to, like at the grocery store and whatnot. Yesterday, I was hitting in my AirPods. I was listening to Gin Blossoms, I believe it was, or Fuel.
Hell yeah.
I was listening to some 90s rock and it was hitting for me. And I went to the
Brett Scallions is on Cameo.
How deep is that? How deep you go in their catalog, bro?
What, Gin Blossoms?
Yeah.
Not that. I had the album Hey Jealousy, I think was the name of the album, and the single. I had that CD and I listened to it all the time as a kid. So pretty much anything off that, but anything else probably not. Yeah. But I love the Gin Blossoms. Anyway, I was rocking, it was hitting for me. I was just spaced out doing that, not driving, but in the parking lot, and I put my headphones in and I was hitting. And I got out, got a cart, walked all through the parking lot, walked through the front door of the grocery store. Everybody turned and looked, like record scratch, turned and looked. And I realized I do not have a mask on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like before anybody could even say anything, I just turned around and walked out. But like I was petrified.
Oh,
like,
dude, I would have been too.
My heart was pounding. I was like, oh my God. I was cringing at myself. I felt so fucking bad.
Then they're going to hear your accent and be like, I knew it.
Right. And I like all the way back to I almost just got, I can't believe I didn't just get in the Jeep and just drive to a different store. Cause that's normally how I would operate.
I would have done that.
But instead, I went
or at
back,
least waited till all the people from that store had gone out.
Had gone, and it was a whole new crop of people. Shift change. Sat there for 5 hours waiting on shift change to
change shirt.
Applied for a job.
Right. Yeah. So
you get the discount.
But
and
all
a new
I'm saying
outfit,
is like
put an apron on.
That was just a genuine mistake, and I rectified it immediately. And I was like appalled at myself.
Yeah.
And it just made me think about like I can't even imagine just not giving a shit about that.
Unreal.
But let alone the people who do the exact opposite, who go in a place wearing a t-shirt that's like, it's my constitutional right to not wear a mask. And then they pull their phone out and tape themselves having an argument with the barista or whatever about why they don't have to wear a mask. And then they get kicked out and post that on the fucking internet. And that like, it blows my fucking mind, because that was a completely involuntary reaction I had. That wasn't me like choosing to feel that way. I just genuinely immediately felt so bad and so dumb, and I just can't understand.
I'm keeping the mask.
People who are that far on the other end of that spectrum, who just don't.
They don't
like. It's so wild to me.
Well, they feel pride, right?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They're rebels, dude. They're rebels. Right. They're not fucking
I'm
sheep.
A sheep.
You're a fucking dumb sheep. You're a dumb idiot sheep.
That split is going to continue. That weird tension is going to continue, and that's just odd. A related question: how long do you think we can catch up to our counterparts in the comedy world who barely stopped? Like having taken a year off from comedy sets you back as a comedian. And Zoom shows help, and I've been doing them more regularly and making myself right for DJ and I show, but they don't fix the absence. And look, that's not a hugely important thing, but it is how we make money. How long do you think we'll ever be able to catch up? How does that work?
Yeah,
I'll be fine.
I do think so. I'm kind of excited about it. And
I can't wait to struggle a little bit.
This is maybe naive, because I acknowledge, of course, I'll be rusty, but to me, it's like not literally everyone. The guys you're talking about won't, but I'm not touring with them, or I'm not doing the same shows as them. a huge chunk of us will be rusty. And I think people will understand that we're rusty. So yeah, I'll be rusty, but I'm kind of okay with that. If I continue to struggle for longer than I expected, then yes, it will become a problem. But as for right now, I know I'll be rusty when we finally get back to it, but I'm kind of excited because it's like starting completely over almost, except I have this foundation of like experience and ability. So it's not like literally starting over, but it kind of is. And I'm excited about that because that's something that most comics never, ever do, because why would you, you know? And so like, I'm kind of pumped to knock the rust off and then see what kind of, what kind of develops, you know what I mean? After such a long time off and everything.
I think that
so I'm kind of excited.
Like now, there's such thing as ring shape. Like if you're a wrestler, it's like, oh, he's a great talker, but he's not in good ring shape right now. And getting back on the ropes, it kind of, you got to knock the rust off. I feel though, like, yes, I've taken a year off the stage, but honestly, I've written more than I've ever written in my life this year. And I've also performed a lot still. Now, it hasn't been on stage, but like, dude, I've played the Buttercream Dream like 375 times this year. So like, I'm still.
Yeah, we were going to talk to you about that, man. You need to slow down. We're kind of worried.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I actually haven't been on the internet since Wednesday. It's been nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I don't know what the fuck's going on, so don't tell me. I want to find out.
Nothing that matters.
God, I love this presidency. So yeah.
I was just trying to hit.
No, right. Right.
For you.
But my point is like, I do think there will be probably a several show rust period, but I do think it'll be like riding a bike in a way where it's like, okay, now I remember how to do it. And once I remember how to do it, I'm who cares? I need this all to be new material anyways. There's no fucking way. To me, as just an artist, I will not be able to take anything from my old shit and do it now. Maybe a line or two, but like, we live in a different world now, and my voice needs to reflect that.
Right. First of all, let me say that I agree with y'all. And second of all, the rust aspect, the rust is definitely going to get knocked off. I guess I was more wondering if you think, being like having that, it's like the rust will take a certain amount of time to knock off, but we'll never get that year back. But my positive outlook on that is, I guess it's kind of what y'all are saying. I feel like it's like an athlete takes a year off. As long as they stay in okay shape, that's good for their muscles.
Of course.
Their knees got a year off.
It's good for our brain.
Dude,
like if you spend all your time on the road, you get road brain.
Right.
Okay.
You need a different experience.
On that note,
so I feel good. I don't know if
this is a little too behind the curtain-y or not, but because of what you just said, that's part of why I'm excited, because like, people have been following us for a while. They know, I mean, we toured hard, like relative to the comedy game in general. There are very, very few people that toured as much, or certainly more than we did. There were plenty that toured as much, but I'm saying like objectively,
we're in the top
level.
1%.
The level we toured at was
road dogged
a high level by any any comedian standard, and we did that for 4 years or whatever. It was like 4 years straight. And I'm not gonna lie, by the end of that, man, I was fucking burnt out in a lot of different ways. And you can't help but let some of that shit come through. Of course, every single show, I'm still trying to give it everything I got. Don't get me wrong, people listen. I was absolutely doing that. It's just a fact of life. It just happens. And you get burnt out. And now, like, I've more than recharged my batteries now. And I just think that will make me, I'll have to knock the rust off. But I think once I'm gonna be better. I think I'll be better than I ever was before. Personally,
I agree with.
I'm a better person too.
But that's what I think.
I agree with y'all. I'm gonna say that. That's how I feel.
I'm gonna come into it a smarter person. I've been reading. I know more words to say. And my batteries are fucking, I'm healthier. That means something. I mean, shit, dude. And just got a lot more to talk about. So like, I think, here, we've talked about this though a bunch. The first weekend, whatever it is, whatever the first weekend back on the WellRED tour, those people are either going to get, it's going to be something else either way, is all I'm going to say. Like either way, like if you come to that first batch of shows, I think regardless you're getting your money's worth, it's just going to be to what end?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm getting fucked up.
Look, we've done the Zoom shows, and I approach the Zoom shows every time. Like at first, it's always completely brand new material and a lot of it. And I try to write it the same as I would if it was going to be regular stand-up material on a stage in front of people in a room. I approach it the exact same way. I've always had fun with those Zoom shows. I've felt good about the material that I've written, and I feel like it's gone well on the Zoom shows. But I know the reality is, like, if I had been doing that material on stage, each Zoom show we did, I wrote like 35 or 40 minutes of new material, something like that. If that had been for the stage, easily more than half of all that would eventually have gotten whittled away, because it wouldn't have been good
one
enough.
piece of it would be 10 minutes.
Right. And that would make the whole thing better. So I'm not telling myself like, I'm writing 40 minutes of gold, baby. I don't even, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even need to workshop it. I understand the reality of it. Like, that's how it works. But
I'm so excited to write a new joke.
I'm still, you know, like,
dude,
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I think that there's a part of me that feels like if I went out my first show and bombed, which that ain't happening. But if I did, I would be like, what a nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like, hadn't felt that one in a while. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm so excited. I don't mean like a straight bomb. Like, that ain't gonna happen, but that wouldn't feel good. But like, I'm kind of excited for when I'm in the middle of something that I really think is good, for one line not to work and me to just have that on that, like, okay, all right, well,
yeah,
all right, I'll do that one different. You know what I mean? Like, that's fun. Like, that's the process. Like, the process that this year off has made me realize how much the process is the dream. You know what I mean? Like, we always think, we're like, oh yeah, I do stand up, and the dream is to have this show, and the dream is, and this year, I've done a lot of reflecting. I was like, dude, you already made it. Like,
yeah, you're
like,
the buttercream dream.
Like,
you're the dream.
Like, did you have were you making as much money in your career as you want to or will? No, but bro, that's all you do. You do stand up for a living, and you get money for it, and the process is the dream. It's so much fun.
I think you guys identify with this. I think for me, it was also like, yeah, but I'm after like respect of my peers. And
I got that shit.
Well, that's what I realized is like, wait a minute, who? Like, I want Dave Chappelle to know my name. Dave Chappelle ain't ever going to know my name, probably. And if he does, that'll be because I have already earned the respect of you two and people who tour with us, you know?
Yeah. I feel that too. I've also cared less about the back of the room
for sure. Dude, I was just about to say, I mean,
like,
y'all know this about me.
Yeah,
like,
buy a ticket.
I feel like this is less. I feel like this is less of a thing now. But like when I first went viral in 2016, there was very, very much a thing in the comedy community at large that was like, you know, yeah, there's YouTube acts, and YouTube acts are not at all respected by actual quote unquote actual comedians, and that was very much a thing. And of course that bothered me at first, because I considered myself an actual, I mean, y'all know it's true for all three of us, but like where I came from and where I was at, the community I was in before,
you were a stand-up comedian that popped on the internet. Yeah.
I was very respected amongst all the other comics that I knew and everything. To go from that to knowing that a huge chunk of comics in general automatically didn't respect me because I was a YouTube act or whatever. Like that very much bothered me at first, but I got over it. And that,
dude, me and Drew were just the YouTube guys' buddies.
Right. And like Corey was just saying, caring less about the back of the room. I had to get over that a long time ago, and I'm still pretty well, you know, over it, because I just know that
it's super inside baseball. But just let me get this off my chest a little bit, since we're talking about it. I need to work on letting go of now, seeing them all do it and try to be you. The ones who I know ran their mouth about you or people like you, like, I can't help but be like, yeah, you know, and I know that the pandemic changed things, but it's just like, it wasn't ever about you caring about stand-up, you motherfuckers. It was just about another way for you to fucking gatekeep, because you got intimidated that someone who can do stand-up comedy also figured out how to get fucking fans in a different way. And I knew that, but watching y'all chase it now, see, I'm going to get fired up on your behalf, and there ain't no reason to. You got more money than God and you're killing it. But I just, you know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about me or Trae right now?
Both of you.
Okay.
But no, I was talking about Trae, like seeing people back then in the comedy world, knowing, like seeing their faces. Like I was in New York and you were popping. I know how they all pretended to feel.
Right.
Until they honestly, a lot of them started being free speech warriors on the internet and started getting Patreons.
Well, I think that they mostly realize at certain points, like, oh, that's just like part of the game now. Like the old traditional way.
Well, and also they saw
working
your
the clubs,
stand-up.
getting better, like that does still exist, but like that is just part of how it is now. And so like, and at this point, I think pretty much everyone recognizes that. So like I said, it's
they
not
also
a thing
saw
like
your
it used to
stand-up.
be.
On that other level too, they saw your stand up. Like eventually I'm sure even if it was just like watching it to hate, curiosity got, but they had to watch it and go, oh, he really is a comedian. You know, like that's not a YouTube guy doing his best at comedy. That's a fucking comedian that did some YouTube shit. And like, that's why I don't give a fuck. Like, I got to watch you go through all that, so I have a very different perspective on it. But like, I would love to be somewhere and somebody go, "Oh, you're that motherfucker that only popped off for screaming on the internet." I'd be like, "Hey, how about you go after me, motherfucker? Let's see how that goes."
That works for you. I really do. I'm sure that does still exist with some of the more edgelordy, comics out there, whatever. But I really do think that's what less and less of a thing.
It is.
Oh, it's gone away completely.
Right. That's why I thought like people just, and like you said, the pandemic also.
Yeah.
But I think even before the pandemic, it's just kind of like a paradigm shift, basically, where people realize like, oh, that's
media now.
That's just a thing you have to do. Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. And I know I had just have to let go of it. I know but like what I'm
saying. Matter of fact, you were
cutting
edge.
Is the fucking
I'm a
reckoning
pioneer for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I want the fucking reckoning. Like I want a goddamn apology letter.
I'd say Bo Burnham, I guess, was like
Bo Burnham was the very first, but he was so far ahead of his time. It was like he was unreal. His thing, and then there was no one
and then
else.
It was you.
And it was like a wave of people at the same time as me.
Yeah,
and like
then
around that same time.
Well, he had people who copied him who couldn't do the live stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, like, and I think people you're still here 5 years later and people recognize that even if they don't.
Part of it too.
It is, even if they don't say it out loud in their brain, every comedian knows if you suck, they will not keep you around. Right. Like, period. Anybody can pop. Literally anybody. Fucking, I'm serious. Anybody can pop. Gorilla Glue Hair Girl could have a special. You know what I mean? But she could. I'm just saying, that's the world we live in. Like, anybody can pop. If you're still doing it 5 years later at that level, you are good. Period. And everybody goes, it just ain't for me. Case closed.
Southern Mama's still on tour, but he ain't selling out. I'm just looking right now.
Good. What are his... I don't honestly I have no frame of reference on that guy because he's never done, to my knowledge, been big on Twitter. And I gave up on Facebook a long time ago. And so he could still be murdering for all and I'd have no idea, but mainly because Rocky ain't texting me about it.
Yeah. I haven't thought about him until
I haven't
right
either
now in a long
till you
time.
just did that. That's crazy. But yeah, I'm sure he's still touring, but he's not taking the world by storm because he ain't got a fucking act.
Yeah.
Get an act, kids.
Get an act.
Get an act. All right. Well,
skew.
Yeah. Skew, but we got to remember to do this.
Oh yeah.
Remind everybody again this Friday, 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern.
That's it.
Join us on the Stereo app, and all you got to do to do that, get the Stereo app completely free, and find any or all three of us by our real names on there and follow us, and that's it. And we'll see you there Friday. That's
it'll be sweet. Do some Q&A, and we'll talk about random wild shit. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right.
Love you. See you. Bye. Skew.
Skew.
Well.